Welcome to the world of Counter-Strike 2, where knowing your callouts can mean the difference between clutching the round or getting flashed into next week. Today we're looking at one of the most iconic maps in Counter-Strike history, Inferno, and unpacking all the callouts that define it. Some are official, some are weird, some are straight up made up. Let's break it down. So, why are there so many callouts on Inferno? Well, Counter-Strike's been around for over 20 years. Maps evolve, metas change, players around the world invent their own slang and terms. Add in regional language differences, meme culture, and some good old-fashioned gamer confusion, and you end up with a map like Inferno, where one corner can have 4 different names depending on who you're playing with. Let's start with apartments. Connecting second mid to short and 8 side, this section of the map is filled with callouts that might be confusing to some players. Take for example boiler. This doorway and staircase might leave you confused as to why people insist on calling it boiler, but there is a very simple answer to this. To find out, let's look at a picture from a few years ago. As you can see, there used to be a boiler room behind this door in previous versions of the map, hence the name boiler. And bedroom over here is the room with a broken bed frame near the apartment's drop down. Balcony hangs over A side, which is a common lurk spot, not to be confused with this balcony or this balcony over here, overlooking second mid. Some regions also call this Rapunzel, given it's a room with a bed and a balcony that they imagine Rapunzel could stand on to await their knight in shining armor. Over here we have halls, which is pretty self-explanatory, just runs through the top of apps. It's a big ass hallway, what do you expect? Then you have cubby, a small little corner at the top of the staircase a lot of people like to hide in addition to the staircase leading up to halls. Apartments is also notorious for its corner camping, usually in this little corner with a shotgun, so learning the names of all these callouts might help you avoid getting surprised. Let's move over to mid. Mid is one of the most complex areas of the map. Maybe not in terms of callouts, but usually in terms of how you play it. Starting down here from T side, we have second mid, which is the main T route towards apartments, but you can also take the route through T apps, where you will find callouts such as kitchen, another balcony, bridge, and this little room called 1.6, thanks to this little computer over here, showcasing the starting menu from 1.6. Lastly, you have T-halls, or most oftenly just called the door because of this door. T-stairs over here is the staircase that leads up to middle from T-spawn. Bottom mid is usually just referring to this general area of mid. Mexico for the American players, or as in EU you might hear underpass, which is this narrow tunnel connecting mid to second mid. And then lastly, top mid is just this area where mid opens up into short and long. And here's where mid can get confusing sometimes. Short, also sometimes called porch, is the right side path towards A side. And don't forget about roof, this little spot over here, sometimes called boost because players can boost up there. Long takes you left to arch and library, and don't forget, here's another cubby. And oh, another cubby, so on long you have 2 cubbies. And lastly, bracket is just this general area connecting long and short. Now let's move on to A side. Down to the bottom right we have pit. Next to that we have mini pit. Above that, of course, is balcony again. Then we have right next to balcony we have car or cart sometimes. On site we have default. We have behind the default. On the left side we have box. We have headshot angle, we have ninja, and then of course we have what used to be called graveyard, which is this little area at the top above pit. And A side rewards your map knowledge. Players like to hide in pit, swing from balcony, or crouch in graveyard waiting for the perfect shot. Knowing these names isn't just for comps, it also helps you predict angles and clear spots faster. Now for the most legendary choke point in perhaps Counter-Strike history, banana. This part of the map lovingly gets its name from its similarity to, you guessed it, a banana. I know, creative, right? It's a long curved path from T ramp to B side, and it's loaded with callouts from bottom to top. Let's start with bottom banana. Logs, which gets its name from the stack of logs coincidentally placed right next to it, can also be called cubby when you forget the callout, of course. Half wall is literally just a wall cut in half. And then you have car. You might have heard barrels. There actually used to be a car there. Now it's just a couple of barrels and a piece of plywood, so newer players probably just know it as barrels. And then sandbags, and conveniently placed right next to it, you guessed it, another cubby. I know, there are a lot of them. And lastly, generally this area is just called top banana. It's a fan favorite spot for oppers to hold banana from. Now moving further into B side. This might be the most confusing area on Inferno for newer players. Some callouts include new box. It's a big box in the back of the side that was added during a map rework years ago, and which rework you might ask? No one really knows anymore, but it's definitely not new anymore. So why it's called new box? Well, it's because players called it that once when it was new, and it's not gonna change. And then you have first oranges. Also got its name from when there used to be big orange boxes there, which has since been changed colors, so to cause as much confusion to new players as possible. And right behind that, second oranges, you get it right. Now in the back you have dark, or sometimes called ninja, or just a dark hidey hole. It's even called emo sometimes for its dark and depressing look, usually a spot where oppers sit and hold the push from. Then in the middle of side you have fountain. Pretty easy. And then right next to it you have default, which is just the default plant spot. And you got coffins, which used to be just 2 coffins. Now next to that you have what some people call pool or grill from earlier versions of the map, where there used to be a grill there and water puddle. Moving into construction, or more recently probably church, is the little building that leads from CT towards Coffin. It used to be under construction, given its callout construction, but thankfully Valve got the budget approved and finished building it eventually. So now most people just call it church. And of course you can't forget about boost, the most common spot for CTs to boost to see over smokes when Ts enter site. And right below there you have tree. An old school callout, still used sometimes even though the tree was removed. Now let's move on to some of the weirder stuff, because over the years callouts have gotten, let's say, creative. Some Danish players call construction for pølsevogn, or as in English, hot dog cart. I genuinely don't know why. If there's any Danes watching this video, please comment below, explain this, it would be greatly appreciated. Some callouts also are just improvised, such as fridge, baguette, or Tetris, given its shapes and different sizes of objects. You know, they look similar to other places on other maps who have these callouts. These are all, you know, unofficial, usually made up calls in the moment. Some of it is just old habits. There are also certain meme callouts, such as Harry Potter, for these smaller, cramped corners that sort of reminds people of the little cupboard he used to live in under the staircase. At the end of the day, callouts are just tools, whether you say sandbags or corner, moto or arch. As long as your team gets it, you're golden. They don't need to be correct, they just need to be clear and consistent with your team, especially if you solo queue. If you play with friends in a 5-stack, you probably already have your own callouts and names, so if we forgot any callouts that maybe you and your team uses, please put them down in the comment below. We want to hear all about them. And of course, thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.